Tim Ballard has one mission: to track down child traffickers. 4 months ago, Colombian authorities asked him to investigate a tip that children were being sold there as sex slaves.
Within a half hour, this individual walks up to me, starts asking me what I'm here for, what I want, and within minutes, he says, well, I've got kids as young as 11 years old.
Ballard, a former Homeland Security agent, now heads up Operation Underground Railroad, a nonprofit group that rescues trafficked kids. After that first meeting, the Colombians asked him to put together a sting.
No men will be in here, only women.
Operation Underground Railroad spent months planning, renting this house, rigging it with hidden cameras to document the crime, coordinating with Colombian authorities, and negotiating with the traffickers.
How they find these kids is they lure them in by pretending to have a modeling agency. They target them at 9 or 10 years old. This is the table where we're going to do the negotiation.
Less than 24 hours after the operatives landed, the suspected traffickers arrived on the island, and the final deal with the undercover team began. 54 boys and girls aged 11 to 18 were ushered in for what had been billed as a sex party. They were given candy and drinks and told to wait.
The Sound of Freedom is the new movie shedding light on the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world, human trafficking.
How'd that make you feel? Giving a child his freedom. Felt good. You have been at this for 12 years.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Sweet land of liberty.
Because God's children are not for sale.
Right, even knocking the fedora right off of Indiana Jones's July 4th box office rankings and taking the #1 spot that day.
These films are created out of moral panics. They're created out of bogus statistics. They're created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by the high-level elites, and only people like Tim Ballard and only people like Jim Caviezel, and by extension, only people like the ticket buyer can help bring these trafficking rings down. So there's a very participatory element. You're not just going to see a movie, you're just killing 2 hours on a hot day. You are helping bring down these pedophile rings and save children. Now, it's not true, but it's a very comforting and it's a very warm feeling to have.
The guy who the movie is based upon, Operation Underground Railroad founder, Tim Ballard, who helped save kids from traffickers all around the world. Tim, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
How cool is that? Your movie beat Indiana Jones.
Yeah, we're blessed. We're shocked. You know, I grew up on Indiana Jones. How could more people want to watch a movie about us than him? But we're grateful because it's a real problem. People are waking up, and we think this could be a major solution in the fight against child trafficking.
Yeah, you know, Tim, it's a true story about you. You work for Homeland Security, and then you were arresting these pedophiles, and you realize, hey, there are victims out there, and I want to save these kids. And the true story is your wife said, you know, quit your job, and you go save this family. Brother and sister are kidnapped. They think they're going to be models, and a beautiful lady says to their dad, just leave them here in this room. I'll take care of them. Come back and pick them up later this afternoon. I'm going to teach them how to be models and give them a modeling career and make a lot of money for your family. He comes back and the lights are off, the kids are gone. And so you make it your life mission to save the little boy, and you promise the little boy, I'm going to save your sister. Did you tell us the story of this? How, because I understand it was a Fox movie. And then when Disney bought Fox Century 20th Century, then this was tabled. And so how did it get to the Angel? How did the Angel Network get involved?
Well, yeah, Fox, like you said, produced it. Disney bought it, and Disney was very clear that they weren't going to do anything with it. The irony there is pretty almost poetic now. The producers wrestled it away, and it went through several hands. And I actually was I was invited to the set of The Chosen, And I happened to be there, and I ran into the Angel Studios executives just sitting there in the fake Jerusalem set. So it's kind of cool. And I told them that this film is about to lose the people who had it, the rights were going to expire. They jumped in and grabbed it, and I mean, they made a deal in 5 days.
That's great.
With the producers, Eduardo, and then 90 days later, here we are. It happened really fast. Angel Studios, very creative. They know how to do this.
But there's been some criticism in the mainstream media where they suggest there's some sort of a connection to your movie and QAnon. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I can't explain it, and neither can they. Every show I've seen, they just like to throw the word out, QAnon. They make zero connection to the actual story. It's very difficult to make that connection when it's actually based on a true story. Every kid is real in the story. Every bad guy is real. You know, they play with some timing and things like that to fit it all in. But where's the QAnon doctrine being spewed in the film, in the script? I have no idea, because this is actually what it looks like, because this is what happened. I was there, and several others were there to confirm. So this is just some other agenda. You know, I mean, who would want to get the backs or run interference for pedophiles and human traffickers? That's the more important question in all this. Why would you want to lie to push an agenda whose goal is to have children be in captivity? It's kind of sick.
Why did you want to do this film? You get a lot of film offers.
Well, first of all, it points to trafficking, but you're going to go for a thrill ride.
Yeah.
You know, and it's incredibly inspiring.
What have you learned from this film about what is driving this child sex trafficking?
Well, obviously the money. It's a $152 billion a year business, and to put that in perspective, that would be every NFL football team, pro sport in the U.S., also World Cup soccer, and then sending your kid to college. Every 18-year-old gets to go to Stanford University for 4 years. That would be $152 billion.